So the county I live in is Washington County in Maine, and it's one of the poorest counties in the country. The area that I'm from is mostly small fishing communities. We have a lot of people that live below the poverty line. So compared to that, my parents make a decent amount of money, but compared to upstate New York, we would be considered lower class. A lot of people are told, both by their family and by their educators, that they're not going to be able to get anywhere in life. So the culture in down East Maine doesn't really necessarily promote education or further education. People stay in the area because they feel like they're trapped, they can't really go anywhere else. My high school was rated one of the top 10 worst schools in my state. Although there were a few teachers that were incredible, for the most part we were very underfunded, and we didn't have a lot of resources, and education in general was definitely a much lower standard than surrounding schools or surrounding states. So my high school had 3 AP courses that they offered, and it was English, calculus, and history. I would say probably about half, but most of the kids that went to school either went to community college or the University of Maine, where it was a lot cheaper. There's only one other girl in my class, or one other person in my class that went out of state. So everyone's required to take the SAT. There is SAT prep that's required, but it's not very extensive. And as far as college advisors, we have a guidance counselor, but she wasn't necessarily very knowledgeable, and most of the college search was done by myself. I think that we always say that, like, oh, there are ways you can pay for college, like FAFSA has money and you can get in on merit aid, but for the most part it's only a handful of kids that take advantage of that, and one of them being me. And I credit that mostly with the pressure I have from my parents, who aren't from the area. So most students they're either not aware of scholarships, or they know that it's really not enough to cover the cost of college, which is astronomical. I was lucky enough to have a lot of money in merit aid from this college. I also have subsidized loans. And then my parents are like footing, it's pretty much a little bit more than half of the bill that's covered from that. And they contribute the rest of the tuition. And as far as everyday living expenses, as far as books, as far as all of like the other fees that add up, I pay for all of those. Currently, I have one job as a tutor, and I'm looking to find more because I need more of an income. But I usually have a consistent summer job that helps me at least cushion my financial situation so I can survive the rest of the year. I would love to have an internship, but most internships aren't paid, or if they are, they're not paid enough to sustain myself. So it really limits me on the opportunities I can take. My mom is a nurse practitioner, so she makes the majority of the money that we have. They're much older than most parents. My mom is in her 60s, and my dad is also in his 60s. So they're looking for retirement, but they also know that they can't retire until I'm out of my undergraduate degree, which is incredibly difficult. But when it came to like writing a college essay, or even like formulating my thoughts to be able to like engage in discussions intelligently, I was really behind a lot of people. I was in office hours a lot my freshman year, talking to professors about mostly like writing. Writing is the biggest problem. So like not only having ideas and thoughts, because clearly like I do have ideas and thoughts, but being able to like put them down on paper and have them make sense and order and everything. So like I had to catch up. And I think that I'm a lot closer, but I'm still behind a lot of my classmates. Yeah, I didn't go out at all my freshman year. But also, yeah, and I'm part of the equestrian team, and that was really the only thing I did. Not because I didn't spend like a ton of extra time on schoolwork, but it was definitely a huge level of stress. The salutatorian of my class, who also happens to be my best friend, she dropped out of school because she couldn't handle the workload, which is incredible. Now she's really doing nothing.